I know.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yes.
We are coming to an end of this conversation. First of all, Yanni, dude, your journey has been so. The lessons in this thing. First of all, something small like read the manual. You know what I mean? Yeah. That thing is so insane. I know how many people don't do that. But anyway, let me ask. So the first one I want to ask is about COVID, and what do you think your impact? What do you think the impact, or what has the impact of COVID been on your life?
Yeah, I mean, like everyone else, it's been really complex. Adjusting. I'd say I'm lucky. I didn't go through some of the anxieties people went, especially professionally, because luckily I'd already started the consulting, and I was already 2 years deep. So I had work. In fact, last year was one of my busiest years, interestingly. 2020. And then I was used to working from home. So for me, it's like everything I'd already got into the rhythm. So, and then a lot of my clients and projects, because they're civil society, the donors are all over the world. So I was used to have calls. So it's like, for me, there was very little transition. It wasn't easy, of course, being sequestered, having the kids at home, learning to concentrate and stuff. But I think those are the smaller things. But I think also because of the people we've lost, friends, family, even I think that's why I started pursuing this architecture thing, because I realized, but what am I waiting for? I mean, when is this time coming? So I would say it's got me rethinking a lot about my life, rethinking about my relationships, kind of structuring the life I want. Because also one of the other reasons I went into consulting, I wanted more time at home. I wanted to be here with my kids. I wanted them to be, when they come home from school, I'm here. So my wife is even now, her career is the one that's taking off now. And she supported me throughout when I was working long hours and everything. So also I enjoy, like, I'm giving back. So she can now focus more on her career because our kids are older. Now I'm the one who can go run for milk, run for sugar. So it's great. And I'm the one with more flexi hours. So it's amazing. I'm getting to know my family so much more. And I would say now the formative years, now I think when it matters, and I want to be them. I sense until maybe 15, 16 when they're bored, like all teenagers, and maybe then that's why I've said I might even take up now a bigger role or a bigger project. Now I know I can focus, but I think if I can for the next maybe 5 to 10 years, I just want to be available for any event called randomly. Tomorrow, are you free? Oh yeah, I'll make it work. I'm enjoying reconnecting with family, because I think I lost my 20s were just skills building and kind of building a base for myself. So for me, I think COVID, it kind of reinforced and validated this decision I made.
I get it.
And everything. It's been tough. This year has been a bit tricky and everything, but it's been an amazing learning experience. And just, I think, seeing how fragile everything is, ecosystems are. So I think COVID has just kind of re-energized me. For me, it's renewed my, because I've always been a long-term planner, but I would say maybe 4 or 5 years I was not really planning. Now I have a very clear view of what I want to do for the next 10 years. And I think that's probably COVID kind of jolted me to sit down and now really ask myself some real questions. What do I want for myself, for my family?
Relationships.
Relationships, what makes me happy. I would say I'd hardly been listening to music, and I was those people who, I remember early days when an album would come out, I would schedule, I would sit and listen. I was those guys. I'm kind of going back to that. I mean, now with streaming, you can discover as much music as possible. So I'm listening to much more music than I used to. I'm watching more TV because I really love TV. In fact, for me, I think I learn orally. So I watch a lot of documentaries.
Yep.
That's how I learn. That's how I consume content and stuff. So I think that I'll be doing. Then I think also a lot of outreach, giving back. So now I do a lot of trainings. I try and do webinars when I can, because I feel there's so much I have to share, and people don't learn like we used to in my days. We used to pull it out. I guess also because of exposure, internet, but there's still a lot of stuff. And there are many spaces I go into, I find people struggling with a certain problem. And I'm thinking, dude, we were dealing with that in 95. I mean, like, it's fine. We will know how to solve that. So I think it's something I'm enjoying a lot. And it's something I ask people, like, it's great to do philanthropic work and CSR, but we can't all go to a children's home on the weekend. If you're a brilliant computer guy, go and service computers at a local public school. Go teach them, because that's the best you can give them. a meal, food, washing, cleaning, garbage, that's fine. There are people who do that. But if we professionals, all of us, or people who have skills, experience, just started giving that back alone,
that's crazy.
let me tell you, you'll do way more to impact the future than I think than anyone else. I think that's kind of the space I'm in now. And then just being grateful for every day, the little luxuries of life. I always joke and say, if I'm sleepy, I can take a nap in the afternoon. So still enjoying. I'm still not used to that. Being able to wake up. It's been amazing. And I think also if I can say discovering myself, you can imagine from me working almost 20 years, in any given day, I would have 30, 40 calls, 50 emails in my inbox. Then when you went to consulting, the only email is Gmail, update your memory, Microsoft, login to renew your antivirus. I mean, it was tough. And asking, who is Julian? Who am I? What am I? What am I about? And then coming back to a place where now I'm back to those levels of inbox calls, but saying these are now my connections. It's not because of a position I have or access. Now it's Julian the access. And so it's been quite a journey. I have a newfound respect for entrepreneurs. I have a newfound respect for people going it on their own. And I don't think I would have truly understood if I hadn't made this leap. I think my advice was still theoretical.
Yes.
Now I have a very visceral sense, and I'm telling someone it can be done. Now I know because at least I've been there. Now it's even given me confidence to push people, to challenge people, and see where it goes. And then I was telling Modoni the other day, this is the first year I would say I think I've come to embrace uncertainty, not knowing what's happening tomorrow. And the magic, I think, of business. Some days you wake up and today the plan is, okay, today we'll go with the kids to the mall, go for swimming practice, come back home. Then in an hour you get a call that changes your next 3 months, a beautiful call. Some days I don't know where the money is coming from, so it may not be the next meal literally, but I'm thinking like, okay, I've not earned money in a month or two, what's the plan? Then a project comes and you're there like, wow, if I was working full-time, I would never. It's that space of just being, can I say, on. I'm open for business, I'm open to engage. And it's been an amazing time, and I think I'm at the uncertainty piece was not easy because I'm a very structured person. I like rhythm. So this is the first time this year, I think, and I think COVID also forced me now to accept it is what it is. We don't know what's happening next week. So I think what COVID did for me is just embrace every day, every hour at a time. And it's really helped me in my work. Because in consulting, you send 20 proposals and wait. And you don't know. Then some days when it rains, it pours. And learning how to build, how to manage your time, and how to do all that stuff. So for me, COVID has been sad on the impact, but it's
I hear you.
It's really,
it's thrust you to the next level.
I think so.
And you're sounding very almost not actual, like a guy who's actualizing. But let me ask this other question before you throw into that comment. So this is where me and you are like having some very strong arguments, and your wisdom now. In fact, when with just understanding your history in depth like this, the digital versus analog space, and this is where I really like. Of course, me, I'm a digital advocate like crazy. I keep saying the new world is digital. You don't need anything else. But I like the way you always remind me, Richie, kwa ground vitu ni different. I just want you almost as a parting shot, or just before the parting shot.
Absolutely.
Speak into that space of the role and the relevance of mainstream media till today.
So, I think over the years, because I've been lucky to be almost at the cutting edge of all these platforms and development of media. And what I would say, I always joke and say humans will remain analog. That's my premise. At the end, it's all about an emotion. It's all about a reaction. That's when your message connects. So as far as I'm concerned, all technologies and platforms are tools. People will always need, when it's raining, they'll need an umbrella. So whether you make it from silicone, carbon fiber, Teflon, feathers, the principle is I want to be dry when I reach there. So I think if people begin to understand digital as a tool, so technology accelerates things. But even a car, I just need to get to my next venue. But I find the thing with digital, people are spending time discussing the car. they've forgotten why cars were made. It was to save time. The day we crack teleportation, the entire auto industry is gone.
Yep.
It's a wrap, because the business is movement. So
Get it
for
from
me,
point A to point B.
from point A to B. So what we need to do is strip down communication and say, what is communication for? Is to get an emotion or communicate a message at its base level. So let's not get caught up in the technology. Otherwise, we would still be discussing MySpace, Yahoo and Hotmail.
Yeah.
But because those have become generic, email is not a thing, that's what will happen to social media. And we've seen all these technologies come over time. So for me, how I look at it this way, in this rapidly changing world, I think the big thing is to understand you want to move your message from point A to B. So it's which is the most efficient way and most effective depending on what you want to do. So Aramis is still the may say world's leading petroleum jelly for ladies because of its various qualities. Yeah, I don't think they have a Twitter page or Facebook page. So we could argue that technology is coming, you'll be left behind. But the nature of its product, ticks fix. Yeah. The nature of, the coil for mosquito, it's never changed the box. I don't think being on IG will automatically blow up their numbers. Yeah. It may add value, but you can imagine now telling them, if you're not on IG or not using social, it's a wrap. Yeah. So for some products, because of where the business is, so me, I always say, follow the market. If your market is on IG, by all means, don't bother with another platform. But don't go ahead of your market. So if your market is not on that platform yet, stop telling them, please switch to this. I always use this example with radio. And that's why I think digital migration may not work for radio and why it's backfired worldwide. FM was not brought about because they wanted FM. It's because the other bands were bad quality. There are things they couldn't do. FM brought stereo, it brought higher quality. So what happened? FM started coming into the market, like color TVs. It is the audience who wanted a color TV. Yep. You see now? So that's why the old system faded off. Now there's new technology, digital radio. But digital radio has to start coming with our cars. When our cars have digital radio, then I can listen to all these other stations I can listen to radios from New York. And then the price starts dropping.
In their car.
Exactly, because people tune into a radio to listen to their favorite Sauti Sol song. Yeah, so Sauti Sol is still singing into a microphone. So it's still a human being singing into a mic. Then it goes through the processes, it's broadcast, it's live streamed. But at the end point, it's someone to sing along or dance. So whether they found out or using IG, YouTube, radio, TV should be irrelevant. The point is Sauti Sol wants as many people to consume their content. So depending on your product, Devki steel mills, Mabati rolling mills. Some of these guys have Twitter pages, and I always wonder. I mean, what are we discussing on Twitter? We have now we have now added 10% zinc. But when I'm building a cow shed in Shags, I call the fundi in Shags. Tell him how much for iron sheets. I don't tell him, let's meet at Devki. I want to check out the new. Maybe now with my interior design thing, I'll now be more keen on that. But what's the average person? Paint. Who buys paint? Some people paint their house. Majority of Kenyans call a painter. Painter comes with color chart. They agree. He paints. They don't know his paintbrush, whether it's Crown Duracoat. It's the advice they take. I don't know what cement is used to hold up this wall. I just want a wall. So I think if we can get to a place where make sure the tools we use are our servants and not the other way around.
That's
so
powerful.
If Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg changes the algorithm, we shouldn't change. It's Zuckerberg who's changed. I'm speaking to Macharia, my cousin in Moranga. So if the algorithm changed today, nothing has changed about him. All I need to know is, okay, because of this change, I may not be able to reach him like before. Or he started getting excited about video. How do I use my product? How do I use now this new format? So I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but humans are not changing, at least not for the next 10,000 years, because I strongly believe in evolution and how things change. So I think as long as that remains, for me, there's some overemphasis on social media and digital is akin to having overemphasis on the stones that the cavemen painted on. It's like saying, let's discuss stone. Should you use granite? No. It has to be cobalt. Yeah. Cobalt is the future. But it's a painting. So it's the message, it's the story. Then all these to me are tools. So that's how my philosophy is towards all these technologies, and I embrace them fully, but I will never make any
the master
tell me how to design. I design in isolation, then I say, now how do we do it?
You guys,
that's my philosophy.
This conversation has been so rich. Wow. I've just been here silent. Okay, not really silent, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I feel like, any dude, you've shared first of all, your experience is insane. The amount of places where you've put your foot in, and I know there's so much we still haven't talked about. But anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to come to CTA. Guys, like, share, subscribe. If you're in the consulting world, business world, now you know where to get your consultation form.
I know.
So hit him up. Hey, actually, but can they reach you on this social media? It's Julian Macharia on Facebook. You can reach him. You can DM him.
Somewhere. You can slide.
You can slide in that DM. He uses them, and he'll get in touch. Anyway, thank you so much for breakfast, a meal, everything that we just enjoyed.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice. In fact, I think we were joking earlier. For me, this is something I hope my kids can watch one day.
Yep.
And I know my story.
They'll be like, dad was a DJ.
You know? So when
not really.
So when I tell you that song is not all that, you feel me.
So, cheers.
Thank you so much.
Hey, by the way, guys, be sure to subscribe if you're catching the video here. Remember, we started a new YouTube channel, so subscribe to this. And cut.